let's talk about, something not related to a team, more affecting all teams, I guess. We've seen numerous games this year affected by the officials shortage, where games have gotten moved to Thursday because there's just not enough refs on Friday. I've heard and seen all kinds of excuses why fewer people are choosing to ref games. Everything from they don't want to face the mistreatment from fans. That's a common one. I've also heard this lately. I hope this doesn't trigger DJ. I'm gonna see what your reaction is. Gen Z isn't interested in working that much. They're not interested in having like a second job, which all of these refs, obviously it's not their full-time gig. They're not going to make a living officiating games, but it's actually nice. It's nice money on the side. It's a nice side hustle. So what's y'all's reaction, and do you have any theories of your own?
Well, I think a lot of people would say I don't hate myself, or I already hate myself. So why would I want to be a referee?
I think that's the real reason why you don't see as many Gen Z, refs. It's we're tired.
You got enough problems as it is.
Yes. Look, I just turned 24 on Saturday.
Right.
And I am tired. And I know that I might get a lot of like older people that are gonna be like you don't know what tired is.
Right.
But just think about what's happened in the past quarter of a century.
Yeah.
And in the world in general, and like the way that the world has advanced, and so you don't want to be out there dealing with people's parents, with coaches, and I feel like to be a good referee, you have to really enjoy it. It's kind of like what we do, in order to be a really good sports journalist, you have to really enjoy it, because you get paid enough, you're always busy. People always assume things of you that aren't always true.
Mm.
And then they don't really care enough to take the time to actually get to know you or ask about the job, or really understand what it takes to work in it. And I feel like officiating is very much the same. I went to Houston for my birthday to see my family. My baby brother, he's 15, he's taller than me now. But he had a soccer game because he plays for the Dynamo club team out in Lafayette.
Nice.
Yeah, he's the actual athletic one in the family.
I got you.
But my dad is very much a sideline coach. And so he kept yelling things at my brother. And then there was this one play where it wasn't even against my brother. It was against one of the other kids. And the ref didn't call it. And my dad was yelling at him. And I'm like, Daddy, stop. These people do not want to be here. So, I just think that it's something that you really have to be called for.
Yeah.
And it is a nice side hustle, but other things take priority. And
do y'all remember Hurricane Harbor or Wet and Wild or whatever it's called, in Dallas Fort Worth, or just a big water park,
Mm-hmm.
The one in Arlington had this slide, and it used to be called Der Stuka. I don't know what it's called now, but it's 5 or 6 stories tall, and you basically just put your arms across and you just go straight down for several stories. It's almost like a free fall.
Where is this analogy going?
Well, most people look at that and they go, no, not doing that, right? It might be fun, but I'm not doing it. I think that's maybe the way people look at refereeing. It's probably really fun and a cool sense of community, but I'm not getting in line and getting on that slide for sure.
I think DJ made a great word there when she said it's a calling. I think you do. It's kind of like the ministry, you kind of have to be called to it. it's a special brand of folks that do officiating, and I think both y'all make some great points. I always feel like so I just sort of threw that Gen Z thing in there partially because I had heard it, but I think it's such a cop out a lot of times to just sort of, oh, this new generation, da, 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 you know, just to make those kind of complaints. It's such like a blanket thing, and we all do it. DJ, you will do it with the younger kids that come up behind you. You'll be like, oh, these young kids, they don't know what they, you know, they don't know how we had it, you know, they didn't live through COVID, you know, whatever. I mean, and all of these are things. I mean, so, you know, I think the treatment from fans on officials, I do feel like has gotten worse over the last few years. To me, you almost couldn't pay me enough to ref high school basketball because the fans are right on top of you. It's, to me, it's the hardest game to officiate because of it's fast. There's collisions, the block charge calls, the hardest call in sports. You can't convince me otherwise. So
high school basketball fans in Texas are the opposite of like St. Louis Cardinals fans or Nebraska football fans. They're not knowledgeable.
Yeah, they're not knowledgeable and they're insane and they don't shut up. And so why would you, you know, submit yourself to that world? You know, the money is just not quite good enough. And I think football, though, I will say this, football, you are a little more removed from the fans. You're a little further away. And so I think, you know, maybe more people should try it. If you are a football freak and you're really into the rules, you might give officiating a try. We need refs out there.
I think that you know, like college coaches probably have something to gain by maybe on a grassroots level and behind the scenes promoting the idea of certain guys going and being refs and kind of recruiting kind of in the same way that they recruit their own players and recruiting guys and being like, hey, go be a ref. We need you. We have a shortage of them. And I think it might take that kind of prominence to kind of get it done.
Yeah. What were you going to say, DJ?
No, I was just remembering something that happened on Friday at the game. Literally the last drive that La Vega had. I think it was like the first pass. Robert, I don't know who he was aiming for, but Prescott threw the ball and it hit the official and it bounced off of him. And Bryson Rowland was right there to just catch it and go. It wasn't enough, but I don't know. That was just a really funny moment. It was like at the tail end of the game, the ref was just in the wrong spot.
Yeah, that happens too, for sure.
Like he banged off of him, but before it hit the ground, Roland caught it. So it was a complete pass.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.